I'm Evan, 38, living in Boston. I've been married to Melissa for 5 years. We're both professionals, both busy, and for the most part, we've built a stable life together. I handle a small design firm. She works in marketing. Our calendars are full, our fridge is full, and somewhere in between, our marriage started feeling empty. I remember the night I suggested the trip. It was early spring, still cold enough that the windows fogged up while dinner steamed between us. I said, "How about Italy in June? Just the two of us." She barely looked up from her phone. "I already promised the girls we'd do Cabo," she said, half smiling, half distracted. I laughed, thinking she was joking, but she wasn't. She'd planned a week-long vacation with her friends. No couples, no partners, just the girls. I tried to reason. "We haven't taken a trip together in 2 years. Wouldn't it be nice to reconnect?" She gave that tired shrug I'd come to dread. "Evan, it's just easier with them. No schedules, no compromises." That one landed deep. No compromises. I was apparently the compromise. For days after, I told myself not to take it personally. But it was personal. Every relationship reaches that quiet intersection where one person starts walking ahead, and the other is left calling out, wondering if they'll turn back. The more I thought about it, the clearer it became. Melissa didn't want distance. She wanted freedom. Freedom from routine, from the sense of obligation that came with me. So I made peace with it, or pretended to. A week later, I asked her casually, "What dates are you going to Cabo again?" She told me. I nodded, smiled, and booked my own flights to the same destination. Not for us, oh no. I booked a private villa and sent polite invitations to all her friends. "Group trip on me," I wrote. "Bring your partners if you want. Melissa deserves company." When I hit send, I felt an odd mix of guilt and satisfaction. It wasn't revenge. It was revelation. I just wanted her to see what she'd been missing. 3 days later, my phone buzzed nonstop. Her friends were thrilled. Free villa, paid flights, open bar. Melissa, however, was silent. That silence told me everything. That evening, she finally asked, "You invited them?" "All of them," I said. "You said you'd rather fly with your girls." I figured I'd make it easier. She blinked at me, speechless. Her pride fought with her confusion, and her confusion lost. "That's petty, Evan." "Maybe," I said, "but at least it's generous." The tension simmered for days. Then one of her friends, Tara, called me. "Is the offer real?" she asked. "Because honestly, it sounds fun." "It's real," I said. "I'll see you all there." By the time June came, Melissa still hadn't confirmed. I didn't push. I packed my bags, boarded the flight, and when I landed in Cabo, I checked into a sun-washed villa overlooking the sea. Within hours, her friends started arriving, laughing, clinking glasses, taking pictures. Melissa wasn't with them. That night, while the waves crashed against the rocks, I sat on the terrace with a drink, watching her friends dance under string lights. Tara raised her glass toward me and said, "Your wife really should have come. She'd have loved this." "Maybe next time," I said, but I knew there wouldn't be a next time. Later, as the party faded and the ocean grew quiet, I checked my phone. Dozens of new posts appeared on social media, her friends tagging me, tagging the villa, tagging #CaboVibes. And among the likes and hearts, I saw Melissa's comment on one of them. "Looks like fun." Just 3 words, but they dripped with something between envy and regret. I didn't reply. Instead, I put the phone face down and watched the moonlight move across the water. I'd done what she asked, given her freedom. But freedom without connection isn't happiness. It's silence wearing a smile. The next morning, Tara knocked on my door holding 2 cups of coffee. "You okay?" she asked. "I'm fine," I said, though it wasn't true. "Just thinking. About her. About how love turns into competition," I said. "And how nobody wins." Tara didn't answer. She just left 1 cup on the table and walked away. By the 3rd day, everyone was having the time of their lives. Sunburned, tipsy, carefree. I played host, smiled when I needed to, laughed when expected. Inside, I felt hollow, like the echo of a promise I once believed in. Then, on the fourth night, I got a text from Melissa. I didn't realize you'd actually go through with it. I stared at the screen for a long time before replying. Neither did I. She left it on scene. That was when I understood. Sometimes you have to let someone feel the absence of what they took for granted. When I got back from Cabo, the house felt heavier than usual. It wasn't messy or loud, just still. The kind of stillness that has questions hiding inside it. Melissa was sitting at the kitchen counter scrolling through her phone when I walked in. "You had fun, I see," she said, her tone flat but sharp around the edges. "It was a good trip," I replied. "Everyone seemed to enjoy themselves." Her lips pressed together. "You embarrassed me, Evan." "How?" I asked. "I invited your friends to a vacation. You chose not to come." "That's not what a husband does." I set my bag down and looked at her. "No, Melissa. A husband tries to connect. He plans trips, he listens, he tries to keep the fire going. But when that effort keeps getting met with indifference, eventually he stops trying." She folded her arms, and for the first time in a long while, she didn't have a ready comeback. I walked past her and poured myself a glass of water. "You made a choice, Mel. I just made mine too." For days, the air between us was heavy with quiet arguments we never had. She'd cook dinner and set only one plate. I'd work late and pretend not to notice her sighs. It was like living in a memory of something that had already ended. Then one night, as I was getting ready for bed, she finally spoke. "I saw the pictures," she said softly. "Everyone looked happy." "They were," I said. "I guess I didn't think you'd actually invite them. I thought you'd just sulk or guilt me into staying." "I used to do that," I said. "But it never worked." She sat down at the edge of the bed. "It was supposed to be my escape. Just 1 week without responsibility, without compromise." I nodded. "And did you get what you wanted?" She hesitated. "No. I stayed home and watched everyone live the life I thought I wanted. It didn't feel like freedom. It felt like punishment." Her honesty caught me off guard. For a moment, I saw the woman I used to know, the one who'd laugh at everything and stay up too late planning our next adventure. "Melissa," I said carefully, "I didn't do it to hurt you. I just wanted you to see what it feels like when someone stops chasing after you." She looked up, eyes red but steady. "Well, you made your point." "I wasn't trying to make a point," I said. "I was trying to find myself again." She reached for my hand but stopped halfway. "Can we fix this?" I thought about all the times I'd tried before. Date nights she canceled. Weekends she spent scrolling through other people's lives. Conversations that ended with, "I'm tired." "I don't know," I said finally. "Maybe we can start by being honest about what we both want." Over the next few weeks, something shifted. She started talking more, actually listening instead of just waiting for her turn to speak. We went for walks, shared coffee, even laughed again. Nervously at first, then freely. It wasn't a miracle. It was just two people remembering how to care. One evening, while sitting on the porch watching the sunset, she said, "I told the girls about what you did. Half of them think you're a genius. The other half think you're cruel. Which one do you think I am?" I asked. She smiled faintly. "A little of both." That honesty, for once, felt real. By late summer, we decided to take another trip. Together this time. Nothing fancy, just Maine for a long weekend. It wasn't about beaches or bragging rights. It was about peace. About starting somewhere quiet. As we drove up the coast, windows down, I realized how small our arguments looked compared to the open road. We weren't fixed. We were just trying again. That night, sitting by a campfire under a sky full of stars, she said, "You know, I used to think independence meant doing everything alone. But maybe it just means choosing who you want beside you." I looked at her and said, "Then choose wisely." She smiled. "I just did." A month later, I got a text from Tara, the same friend who'd brought me coffee in Cabo. "Glad you two worked things out." For what it's worth, that trip woke her up. I replied, maybe it woke me up too. Sometimes the way back isn't through confrontation or control. It's through distance, the kind that makes both people look at the space between them and realize it's worth closing. Melissa never took another girl's only trip after that. Not because I forbade it, but because she didn't feel the need to escape anymore. And me? I learned that love doesn't survive on constant chasing. It survives when both people stop running.